Okay, this tape is going to be a demonstration of using cognitive behavioral therapy. I will be the therapist again, and Susan is again our client. Hi Susan, how are you doing today?
I don't know, I've been better.
Okay, tell me more about what's going on.
I recently divorced, and my life is a mess. You know, it's just a mess. I can't do anything. I feel horrible all the time, and I just cannot believe that my husband has done this to me.
Okay, so can't do anything, feel horrible all the time, can't believe your husband's done this to me. Tell me a little more about what's happening, what's going on.
I mean, we've been married 18 years, and we have children together, and you know, he's having an affair with this young woman at his office. And you know, I should have known. I mean, there were signs I should have known that he would do this to me, that he was doing this to me, to us, to our whole family. But I just didn't see it, didn't want to see it, and now it's just like our family. He has just ripped our family apart to almost where there's nothing left anymore.
So this sounds like a bad situation.
It's very bad.
Let me just ask you a question, because I know sometimes clients will come in and they'll tell me that their spouse is having an affair, and sometimes they have real conclusive evidence, or their spouse is sort of fessed up about this. Sometimes they're very concerned that there's an affair and they've seen some signs, but it's not sort of out in the open yet. They're just very worried. Kind of tell me.
Oh, you know, well, you know, he does go on business trips and that sort of thing, and initially I did think that's what it was, but you know, we started getting calls, and then you know, he had smelled of not like a man should, and his work associate was calling our house with greater frequency, which initially I thought it was not a big deal. But then I saw, like on the cell phone bills, is that this woman is like the most frequent call. So I finally just confronted him about it, and you know, he confessed, like, oh, he's like, you know, that I have not been a good wife to him, and you know, the sex is bad and everything is bad, and this woman just makes him feel alive, you know. So this is what he's done, is he's decided to go off with this young girl.
Okay, so this is pretty much a for sure.
Oh, it's for sure
thing.
Oh, yes.
The two of you have talked about it.
Yes, it is real. It's
okay.
not a figment.
Okay, and so tell me, as you come here today, what are some of the things that you would like for us to be able to work on, so that you could say, you know, I went to see this cognitive therapist and we did some work together, and I feel like life is more in control, or I feel better as a result. That therapy worked.
You know, before you know, my husband was a good provider financially, even though I have, you know, I have some education. I haven't worked in years. I can't sleep, I can't eat. I feel like I'm now responsible for this family, and he can go run off with this girl regardless of what he's doing to us. And I need to be able to feel better, and I need to be able to, I feel like in many ways he still controls us to some degree, because we rely on him financially still and all those things. And I kind of want to kind of like banish him from my life.
Okay, so you would like to be sort of more free.
Yes.
Now, is he still living in the home, or have the two of you?
No.
Okay. So are you and the kids still in the house?
Yes.
Okay. And you have the kids?
I have the kids. We still have not finished the financial dividing of things, but we do. The children and I do live in the home, but he's paying the mortgage.
Okay.
Still.
Okay. And so you'd sort of like to be able to maybe get rid of this sort of sense that he's in your life, he's controlling your life. I guess I hear a sense that you feel like you depend on him because of the financial.
Yes, that's right.
And you'd like to feel somehow
in control of my own life. You know what, and I don't feel, I am unhappy as a result too. I just feel unhappy. Nothing brings me any pleasure anymore.
Okay.
You know, the children don't, partly because I worry about what's going to happen with them, as, you know, if I'm supposed to go back in the job market, I don't know what am I going to do with an art history degree? And I don't know.
And tell me how long has this been going on?
Oh, with him and her?
Well, how long has it been going on that you've known and you confronted him and the two of you kind of separated?
This has been 6 months.
Okay.
Since
Okay,
we've
so
known,
it's been a while.
and trying to decide to, you know, split, going through the divorce, which has been very messy. And, you know, we're just doing like final details. But, you know, part of that at this point involves is that he, as before, was still supporting us financially. I mean, how long can I do that?
Okay, and when you chose to come see me, sometimes people kind of pick my name out of a telephone book, and sometimes people have been referred, and sometimes people say, oh, she's a cognitive behavioral therapist, that's what I want. What's your understanding, do you know much about what cognitive therapy is and the kind of approach that we'll be taking here?
Not really, I just assumed that all you people know what you're doing to some degree.
Well, we hope we do, but we do it differently.
Okay.
So let me tell you just briefly a little about kind of the way that we'll be working together.
Okay.
The cognitive model sort of believes that in life there's many different situations which occur. And if you're in a wonderful, benevolent, great place, it's easy to tell yourself good things about it and to feel more happy. When cruddy, rotten things happen, it's much more natural to feel rotten and unhappy. Given that situations will occur, sometimes we have control and sometimes we don't. But then there's a piece of control which is kind of how you look at the situation, what you say to yourself about the situation, how much your brain is kind of plagued with the situation. As you lie in bed awake, you know, do thoughts of the situation keep going through your mind, or do you think more pleasurable thoughts? So that kind of the way that we look at things, the way that we think about things, what we tell ourselves about ourselves and the people and events in our lives, that has a profound impact upon our emotional well-being and what we do.
Okay.
And that's something that you have much more control over.
I feel like I
than your husband, who is going to do what your husband's ex-husband is going to do. So that the work that we would do together would be kind of looking at ways that you could sort of look at situations, the things you tell yourself, and how that affects you. And maybe some different ways to, you know, different things to say to yourself, different ways to look at things, as well as working on some real specific skills. I hear you saying, what am I going to do with an art history degree? We could explore, you know, things like that. Do some kind of problem solving. If, you know, the kids are struggling, do some things about maybe how to work with the kids to help them get through this. So some tools and skills and some ways of looking at what's going on in your head. Okay. So anyhow, as you were talking about, you wanted to sort of get beyond this. Tell me how much time in a day your brain is
all the time, day, night, you know, all day long. That's all that I think about. But then I don't sleep well either. So it really gets me more when you're not sleeping at night and the house is still and dark and there's nothing else to do. That you know that I was this 20-something-year-old displaced me, that, you know, I'm finding myself in this position because I'm a middle-aged woman who doesn't apparently have anything to offer anyone.
So as you were lying in bed, take last night, was last night a...
Yes, typical.
Tell me just some of the thoughts, or were those some of them that you just...
Yeah, it's that you know, I must not be desirable anymore, that he would need to look for somebody younger than me, and I don't know if that's physical, if it's that I'm uninteresting, you know, that I've been home, you know, taking care of these children for 16 years, and, you know, this woman apparently is, you know, professional and vibrant and young and all that kind of stuff, and I mean, it must be something about me. Okay, so I just hear a bunch of kind of just thoughts. When you think things like that, what does that do to your feelings? What kind of... It's something beyond sad. It's like, you know, in the pit of your stomach, a nauseating feeling, like who I am is not good enough.
Okay. And there's just to kind of briefly, one of the things that as we work together we'll do is cognitive therapists have people do a bunch of things in between sessions for several reasons. One, it gives me a better sense of what your day-to-day life is like. It also helps you take some of the stuff we're doing here kind of into your world, which is where you want to make a change. You don't want to be different for an hour a week and then go back up for the other 167. So to bring these and practice them in the real world. But a lot of it is sort of investigatory work or evidence gathering, getting a sense of what's going on. And there's a thing that we go over with people, and you can kind of think of it as an ABCDE chart. And this is to get a sense of different situations in your life, and then kind of the things that as you're lying in bed, sort of mulling things over, what the beliefs and so forth are, and what effect that has on you. So if you were to look at these letters, and I'll give you one which is much more in detail to take home, but A sort of stands for the activating event, which is a situation, and B stands for the belief. This is what you're telling yourself, what thoughts are going through your head. And C is the consequence, or what effect that has on you. What does that do emotionally, and what is your behavior like? So if we were to just go through last night, the situation you're talking about. So you're the situation is you're lying in bed, and you're telling yourself, you know, here, he left me for 20-something. Here you say, I'm not good enough. Some of the other thoughts you were?
Like it's something about me.
Okay.
You know, that I must, I mean, because if I was such a great spouse, he wouldn't have left.
Okay, so if I was a good spouse, he wouldn't have left. So as you're saying these things, you said like your feelings were sort of worse than sad, sort of nauseous, almost.
I think I also vacillate towards anger too.
Okay.
Between, okay, I'm not good enough, and being very angry that he would do this to me.
Okay. And the consequence behaviorally, so this is emotionally, you're lying in bed, all these thoughts are spinning through your head. Emotionally, you're sad, and you're angry, and you're nauseous, and your stomach is twisted up, and what does this do about sleeping?
Oh, I don't sleep. I do not sleep. I don't food, I don't eat. Nothing isn't fun.
Okay. Okay, so this is really, really, really bad.
I feel like a life used to be in color, and now it's in gray tones.
Okay.
I don't find virtually anything pleasurable anymore.
Okay. So with all this going on, now let's just imagine, and this may be really hard to imagine right now, but sometimes when I start with clients with this, we just sort of say, okay, imagine a genie came through and waved a magic wand or something like that. Imagine in a situation, you're lying in bed, that you could think about something else. It might be really, really hard to do, but imagine you could think about something else. What would you like to think about when you're lying in bed?
Could it be something pretend?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be real?
No, do whatever you like.
I might think about, I don't have these problems anymore, and I'm doing something, think about maybe going back to school, or think about the children, you know, one is gonna, how they're doing in school, or think about something enjoyable that I have to look forward to.
Okay. And if you were to pick something enjoyable to look forward to, what is something that you would like to?
Well, you know, I like to golf.
Okay.
I do like art.
Okay.
And
then art history major, you probably
I
have art
find
you can think about.
Art extremely enjoyable.
Okay.
You know, the children have always been a source of pleasure. My husband and I used to like to travel, but I don't even know that I would think of that because it's something I think I did with him.
Yeah, so let's just say imagine tonight you go home and you're lying in bed. You're thinking about the kids, you're thinking about how they're doing in school, and you're thinking about a conversation you had with them, and maybe some fun times you had. Maybe you're imagining taking the kids out and teaching them how to golf.
Mm-hmm.
You're just lying there and you're having these thoughts. It's been a hard day. It's 11 or 12 o'clock at night. What are you feeling?
I guess happier.
Okay. Other feelings you might be having?
Well, you know, if I was golfing, it's usually, you know, if you're golfing with people that you enjoy being with, and you're socializing, we're more relaxed. I find art to be stimulating, thought-provoking. My mind would be busy with things that were interesting.
Okay, and so as you're lying in bed and you're imagining golfing and the kids and maybe walking through, you know, an art museum that you'd like to go to that you've been to, and remembering a trip you had there, it's 11:30, you've had a nice cup of chamomile tea, a bath, what might happen to your body?
I think I would feel more relaxed, less upset and angry. I'd feel happier, more satisfied.
Okay, okay. So if you could, and you think if you could gain some conscious control of your thinking, that maybe we could work on, as you're lying in bed at night, kind of trying to switch some of this to some of this that...
I mean, clearly he doesn't control my thoughts. So I should be able to think about what I want to think about. Whether I'm capable of doing that, maybe another whole other question.
Yeah.
But I think I see this idea that I have certain control, even though I feel out of control right now.
And one of the things that I find when I'm working with people is to just sort of see that the difference between what I am thinking and what I could think. As you know, a lot of people come and say, well, yeah, I do realize, I guess I do have some control over my thoughts, but these are very seductive. This is a hugely powerful situation. It's an awful thing that feels like it's happening to me, way out of my control.
Yes.
And so, as you try thinking about the kids, whoosh, negative thoughts come back in, and you have to push them out, and then whoosh, they come back in. So one of the hardest sort of hurdles to get over is to learn how to have more conscious control of your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, is that something that you might be interested in working on?
If it'll make me feel better, I'm interested in doing anything because I'm tired of feeling like this.
Okay, why don't we do that?